Welcome back, YouTubers, to our TNA 2012 Lockdown pay-per-view review with us, the British Fist.
Go, Jay!
Me, Mr. Parkin, almost botching the first line of this review, and this guy sitting next to me, well, the guy never botches, and when he does, you guys never notice because he never botches. He just never fucking botches. It's none other than NJ.
What's up?
Indeed, doesn't even botch that. There we go, it's a trademark. Subscribe above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this TNA Lockdown pay-per-view down in that comment section below.
And please make sure you contact us in the links in the good box below.
Yeah, so I think it's fair to say, NJ, that I was pretty pumped for Lockdown personally. I thought this was going to be a great pay-per-view.
Especially after your reviews of the past lockdowns going up to this one, yes.
Yeah, that really got me pumped for the show. Thanks for mentioning that, NJ. A little self-harming plug there. But, I mean, I think it's fair to say, I think the first thing I want to get off my chest with this pay-per-view is that this was coming from Nashville, Tennessee. I expected the crowd to be very good, especially after that go-home show where the Impact crowd was actually noisy for once. I think one thing that stood out for me from this pay-per-view was the crowd really just wasn't in this pay-per-view at all. It really didn't help the feel of it, did it?
And it's really sad because the wrestlers would get in this pay-per-view, like fan favourites, matches that were pretty good for them. And I thought you would react better to who you're seeing in the match, but just don't really give us what we wanted until later on.
Yeah, and when the crowd doesn't react as you want it, it does kind of ruin the matches because some of the spots just don't feel right and they don't feel big, and that really does help. That really doesn't help the feel of the match sometimes. But anyway, we'll get straight onto this. The opener. We opened up. This is a strange booking decision with the Lethal Lockdown match. Now, I don't know about you, NJ, but I really didn't think this was a good opener. I don't think Lethal Lockdowns are really designed to open the card. I mean, Lethal Lockdowns generally go on for quite a long time. The last 5 minutes are usually the crazy 5 minutes. The first sort of 20 minutes usually building into the match. I didn't think this was the right opener. I didn't think it was a bad match. I just didn't think it was the right thing to open the card.
Well, with the feuds and the wrestlers we had in this, they do deserve to be in a higher place, obviously where they're going to be progressing to. So I do think that they should have used this as a late one and built up to a big match like this.
Yeah, indeed. You had Team Garrett, Garrett Bischoff, AJ Styles, Austin Aries, Mr. Anderson, and RVD versus Team Eric Bischoff, consisting of Eric Bischoff, Bully Ray, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian with a new haircut, and Gunner. And the loser, of course, as we knew, would leave TNA. So there was a win-win situation here. Either Eric or Garrett was going to win, and I think we all pretty much knew Garrett was going to win this. But going into the match itself, Garrett Bischoff wanted to go out first to show that he had heart. Now, as much as I don't like the Garrett Bischoff storyline, at least doing this makes him get over a little bit more because he wants to go out there and prove himself. I thought that was good booking there by TNA, and Gunner going out there first and everyone pretty much kicking his ass was another good booking decision, in my opinion.
Well, look at this. I'm kind of glad they had Gunner come out first because obviously they had the feud in the past, and this was their moment to have their time with each other again. And yes, they had Garrett looking strong. Obviously, when the other people came down, it did come more of a little beat down on Garrett.
I think the biggest pop of the night, really, was Austin Aries, wasn't it? When Austin Aries came out, he got a massive pop from the crowd. But I do think I was quite impressed with Bully Ray in this match, personally. The heels dominated these sort of early goings, and it was quite funny seeing all these like big superstars all kicking Garrett Bischoff's ass. Do you know what I mean?
It was a moment that, obviously, with fans, people who like Garrett, you can like him, but a majority of the fans don't really like it. I think this build's gone a bit wrong. So to actually see him get a beat down after this big streak of a big build he's been getting in the TV shows, this was a good moment to see. So obviously, after all this build, he does deserve something backhanded to him.
Yeah, but at least it was correct booking in the sense that Garrett isn't going to out-wrestle everyone and he got beat down by all the heels. That was good booking. That's a way to book a guy like Garrett Bischoff, who we know isn't a very accomplished wrestler. So that was realism. We get RVD coming out last, and then we get... I think what the problem here was with this match is, you know, it wasn't that it was a bad match. It was technically fine. It's just that in these matches, that it's one of those matches where you expect a big moment or a big spot or something out of this world to happen. And I think that's what this match really lacked, because it just really wasn't... It really wasn't as eventful as I thought it would be.
The thing I liked about this, though, is exactly what I was expecting. The feud's all paired up in a way, and they did have the moment of them fighting against each other, so it did that justice. So after lockdown, they can continue or whatever. But yes, there weren't really much big spots. No. But when we think about this match next year, look back at it, there's not going to be a spot in this, apart from the ending probably, but just nothing in the match that was building up towards the ending.
Or the AJ spot from the top of the cage, maybe. But that really wasn't a big spot, in my opinion. You get Eric Bischoff punishing Garrett Bischoff with the kendo stick, and Garrett Bischoff, just like his hero Hulk Hogan, no-sold the 20 kendo sticks and hit his dad with the guitar. And so Team Garrett gets the victory. Garrett Bischoff pins Eric Bischoff. Again, I don't have a problem with Garrett Bischoff going over here. This whole feud has been designed to get him over. So at least you've done it in a way which has been booked correctly in the sense that Garrett Bischoff got beat down, and showed heart and got the pin on his dad, which is the ultimate payoff for this feud. Now, hopefully, this feud will end and Garrett Bischoff will maybe work his way up the card like we really felt he should have done anyway.
So look at this, and yes, the big part. I'm not taking anything away from the match because you can compliment what you saw in the match by all means, but it's just the ending. You saw Bischoff getting his moment over his son before he lost by beating him down. Then all of a sudden, Bischoff turns his back to his son. He gets up, whacked with a guitar like Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
And that was just thought, okay, that's it, finish, over. We knew it was coming to that, but it's just not the best ending. But it gave Garrett what he needed, his final say over his dad.
Yep, indeed. And we go. So as an opener, the match was okay. I didn't think it was the best thing to open the card personally. But I think we'll go on to the tag team title match now. Samoa Joe and Magnus as the tag team champions versus Motor City Machine Guns for the TNA tag team championships. I thought this was a good tag match. It's just that, again, the crowd just weren't into this match, and it really affected some of the spots that they did. It wasn't like an overly fantastic tag team match or anything. It was still a good tag team match, in my opinion. Just the crowd really did let this one down, in my opinion.
The crowd, yeah, because obviously with the return of the machine gun, they do want a bit more of a reaction. But what I liked about this, minus the crowd, forget about them, is that they both made each other look good. Return match and the tag champs go on. I really like how they were doing this match. And the winner at the end, like we said in our preview, we do think it was the right winners, because obviously they need to look strong going on before a later match for whoever's going to beat them for the titles.
And essentially, this tag team feud will probably be stretched out for a while. So to have the sort of, I guess, more heelish tag team and Joe Magnus retain here was the right decision. I think I gave this match 3 stars. It was a pretty good match, just let down by a bit of a bad crowd, in my opinion. If the crowd was more hot for this, the spots would have meant a little bit more, and the match would have been a bit better, in my opinion.
That's the way to look at it, because it was a match we were looking forward to. The 2 teams were in it. It just didn't give us the big moment that we wanted during the match.
Devon versus Robbie E for the TV title. Did we really give a shit about this match? I mean, the match went about 3 minutes. You kind of were left thinking, what the fuck was the point of this match? And the post-match attack means that this feud is going to continue. And it's like, oh God, why?
The right person won, we give it that. And I'm guessing now Robbie E will have to go through another more contender, but hopefully he'll lose it. Someone else will get the shot, just so the TV title can go into a better direction. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah,
that's all we're going to say about that segment, guys. Gail Kim with Madison Rayne versus Velvet Sky for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be with Velvet in there. I think that this is a decent match. You had that nice sunset powerbomb spot. Just for me, the finish. Again, the crowd weren't really into this. The finish was a bit for me with the reverse pin and then the other reverse pin out of nowhere. The match just kind of finished out of nowhere, but the crowd really wasn't reacting to it. Once again,
knockout matches I do look forward to, but this one, I was looking for Gail Kim to see her progression, but Sky, she got distracted by Madison
who's outside the cage,
and suddenly that distracted her. Then she goes round, and it just gets a bit messy. And the roll-ups, whatever, it's just not a match that gave us the Gail Kim dominant win sort of thing.
At least Gail Kim got the victory, though. I'm glad. I think Gail Kim. I think Gail Kim needed to retain here. But again, it was a little bit disappointing. But at least Gail Kim managed to pull a decent match out of Velvet Sky. That's all I'll say about that match. Then we had a promo segment, which really, in my opinion, should have been saved for Impact. I can't help but feel that you had Ric Flair coming out there, and I can't help but feel that TNA probably thought to themselves, God, we need to get this crowd going again, because they're really not doing anything. And they thought, Ric Flair and Hogan having a promo between these two, which would have been good maybe 20 years ago, is definitely going to get this Nashville crowd going again.
I've always hated Hogan. That was the whole thing about it. He hates how he's treating the show, what he's done to Bischoff and that. Yes, like Dan said, we both felt it should be done on Impact, because this didn't really come alive. The first thing I noticed is by the end, I was thinking, they're really, in a way, ruining Flair's image, because he'll be a bit all crazy at the end.
Crazy old senile man.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was just horrible.
It's kind of a waste of time. It was like 10 minutes that we really didn't need on this pay-per-view. 10 minutes that could have gone to something else, like maybe this next match, for example. Crimson versus Matt Morgan. I thought the promo by Matt Morgan was pretty good before the match started. But in my opinion, this match did not get enough time. It only got 8 minutes. And again, the finish, the match was too short, and the finish again was for me. Why can't he just have Crimson, a guy who's supposed to be undefeated, just beat him legit? He's undefeated, for fuck's sake.
The thing I want about this match going into it, two big guys dominate each other, have just a dominant match against each other, because I expected from both, but I didn't really feel that this was a big dominant match. It was pretty slow in some parts. I didn't really feel they were fighting to batter each other to pieces, and for a big lockdown match, it didn't really deliver, and the ending was just quick drop, out finish, not dominating at all. But I will say this, I did look forward to this match, and there were some parts in it where I'm going to give him credit, but just didn't give me a strong feeling for a lockdown match or the continuation of this feud.
Yeah, I think I gave this, about 2.5 stars. I think the right person went over Crimson. I just didn't think he went over in the right way. You got Morgan. You kind of got a lucky victory of Morgan's leg getting trapped and then him going over the cage. Only got 8 minutes. You know, really not enough time for this match. A bit of a disappointment in my opinion. But that's not what... We can't talk about disappointment in this next match. Jeff Hardy versus Kurt Angle. Now, this is where the crowd started getting a little bit better. The crowd were behind Hardy in this one. This Jeff Hardy versus Kurt Angle in a steel cage match. This was the best thing we got on this card until we got to the main event, in my opinion. It was a really good match between these two, and I expected this, even with Angle hurt.
That's the thing, because with the crowd, or the fans, should I say, not really get into this pay-per-view as much as they should do. They wanted the main events to deliver, and this was definitely one of them. And the two big wrestlers, you saw how much we complimented in the build. This match definitely delivered. It gave us great wrestling from Angle, even though he was injured, and Jeff Hardy did all his spots, stunts, and that just pure awesomeness. Really loved it.
Yeah, it was a really good match. They told a fantastic story, in my opinion, and it was like the blow-off match. So you knew this was going to be. They were going to save some special stuff for this match. You had the angle slam from the top rope. You had the springboard from Jeff Hardy. You even had Jeff Hardy doing the ankle lock, and he finished it off. He did 2 swanton bombs, and Angle kicked out, and then Hardy did an angle slam, and then the swanton from the top of the cage won the match. That was a fantastic spot to end the match. They built up to that spot very well, in my opinion. I was very impressed with this match. I think I gave it about 4 stars, a tad better than their match at Victory Road. I felt this was better simply because of the use of the cage and the storytelling and the ending spot. And I thought it was a really good match on this show.
And that's what I felt. This was definitely lived up to what we were expecting. And the thing is, TNA know that these two could put on great spots, great matches. Jeff Hardy did his high-flying spots. We were expecting that, wanting it. We got it. Great finish. And the way they did it was Angle obviously got carried out, so it made it look like he's really injured and getting some time out of disappearance for a little while. And Jeff Hardy's going to continue, and who knows what's going to come for him next.
Yeah, it was a good win for Jeff Hardy, and I just hope to God Angle takes a break now. He's got an injury, and I don't want him to kill himself in the ring. And if he's going to keep doing stuff like that, he will probably kill himself in the ring one of these days. So I do hope he takes a break right now. But anyway, you follow that great match with a match which essentially is there to. Okay, I guess give the crowd a break, I guess. I don't know. EY and ODB versus Sarita and Rosita for the TNA Knockouts tag titles after that wedding, which took up a lot of time on Impact, on the going show of Impact. Oh god, this was announced on the pre-show. I really didn't care about this match, and it was there to maybe get a reaction from the crowd, but it really didn't, and kind of at the end of the day just seemed really pointless, and why was it even on the card?
Yeah, basically started off about their wedding, they all celebrated with the crowd and that. Then they got to the match, and oh my gosh, 5-star match of the night, what we're all waiting for. No, thanks, it finished. Right, wrong people win our thought, give the titles back to some knockouts and finish it.
All I can say is, NJ, I hope to God that now these guys, now ODB and EY are going on honeymoon. That's the last we see from them on TV for a long time now. That's all I can say. Even though I do think it would have been nice to give the belts to Sarita and Rosita. They pretty much look like jobbers in this match. But there you go. EY was annoying as hell, but that wasn't important. It was just a filler match. What was important was the main event, James Storm versus Bobby Roode for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I think it's fair to say a lot of people were looking forward to this match. The feud has been very good between these two, and they really did make this feel like a proper main event in the build-up, and also on the pay-per-view itself, with all the video packages. We got an interview with Bobby Roode. I'm surprised we didn't get an interview with James Storm, you know, the hometown guy.
Well, the thing I want to say about this, we've got James Storm video packages which built him up and beer money up. And the other thing is, the commentators now did mention about the tweets and how they were all leaning toward James Storm. So they have a lot of James Storm feeling to this match. And Bobby Roode obviously being dominant on the mic in his promo. So pretty nicely built. And
I thought it was pretty good. They had James Storm come out in a pickup truck. That was pretty good. Again, I thought the crowd would be more mental for James Storm than they were in this match. It was kind of surprising. But I did like the way they begun the match, though. You had James Storm just saying, fuck this, I'm starting the match on the outside. You had like a sort of a 5-minute brawl on the outside. And I must admit, these two guys, they put up a hell of a fight in this match, didn't they? They were going balls to the wall on this one with each other. Just a hell of a fight and a hell of a story these guys told.
The two things I like about this is that the outside thing, yes, it took time, but it actually showed that they just wanted to fight, just go at it, draw blood. Very nicely done indeed. Get into the ring, match starts, and this is where everything kicks off, starts. They batter each other, they take it in turns to smash each other into the cage. You felt so much in this, and you expect from the build going into this match.
Yeah, indeed. You also had the super kick to the referee. The referee ate a super kick in this one. But like I said, they had very good use of the cage. You had blood in there as well. There was a lot of emotion into this match. The facial expressions, you know, James Storm sort of going like that and everything, riling himself up.
Brutal words, you know, I hate you, or you're nothing without me and all that. I really like that from Roode. I just really liked how the story was even going during the match.
Yeah, it's just a shame the crowd, again, really didn't react properly to it, in my opinion. It was kind of one of those, I was expecting the national crowd to really raise the level for James Storm, but they really didn't, in my opinion. But that's just the crowd kind of let me down tonight on this pay-per-view, I think. But we had you know, the whole thing with Roode, Roode smashing Storm over their head with the beer bottle, and Storm kicks out, and that got the crowd alive. And then you had Storm looking like he's going to win against Bobby Roode, and he super kicks him out of the cage, and Bobby Roode gets the fluke victory. You know, let's just discuss that finish. A lot of people will say, "Oh, typical screwy TNA finish." I thought it was quite cleverly done, even though I thought that this was James Storm's time to win the belt. I know you have a different theory on this, so discuss that.
Well, two things I want to say, as you know, I'm two-sided. The build-up led a lot towards Storm and giving Storm his win. Beautiful thing, video packages, everything. And this was going to be Storm's moment. Yes, he's already won in the past, but this was going to be his moment to actually mean to be the champion. But the fact it was in Storm's hometown, you had Storm's family and friends outside the ring. The build-up was going to be all heartwarming towards Storm. And I really thought, right, that is good and all, because obviously it would be a big win for him. Then I thought, why not do what they did, which was swerve and surprise us all by giving Roode, the dominant champ, the win over Storm.
So some may say they're disappointed with the ending. Some people like you may, you know, you like the ending. I thought the ending was cleverly done. It made Storm look like he could definitely win the belt. And he will win the belt down the line. I just think this was Storm's right time to win. I just thought this match would be one of those matches where they would just go at it and have a clean finish, a definitive finish, but obviously they weren't going to go down that route. I think they're going to they're trying to get Roode more heel heat, and they're going to have Storm maybe win it at a Slammiversary or a Bound for Glory or something like that. Just my opinion. I just couldn't help but feel the timing at this pay-per-view was right, and I know a lot of people would agree with me on that one. What did you think of this main event? Did it deliver to what you thought it would be?
Definitely. I'm really pleased with this match. Of all the matches that we got, this one had a lot of feeling, story to it, and I actually felt the blood, the people there, the build-up throughout the TV shows and the pay-per-view, and the stuff that went in the match delivered all the way, and I was really satisfied with what we got in this match.
Yeah, I thought, like you said, they told a great story. James Storm and Roode told a very good story in the ring. The finish could be considered questionable, depends really how you look at it, to be honest. But at a big pay-per-view like Lockdown, I did expect TNA to give us a clean, definitive finish in a feud which has been built up for very long now between two guys who are going to be, you know, our main eventers for the company. And homegrown TNA talent, but there we go. So I was generally very satisfied with the main event. I just think this pay-per-view was a pretty much it was kind of a two-match show, really, wasn't it? There was two like really good matches on this show, but the rest of it was kind of average, if you know what I mean. I don't really know how you'd grade it, but there was two really good matches, and kind of the rest of it was kind of average to bad.
The thing I say about this is I'm going to totally agree with you. There's only two matches. The match that the TNA wanted to go right did. I give it that. And also, yes, the other matches didn't do as much bang justice at a big pay-per-view like this, but the right people won, which was, apart from maybe the ODB thing, but forget about that. But overall, the right people won, and that is going to be good. leading on to whatever they got planned next.
Yeah, I do agree with you. The right people generally won. It just meant that there was no title changes, which was quite strange. I thought they'd at least do 1 or 2 title changes maybe at this pay-per-view. There was a couple of filler matches in there. Some of the matches kind of disappointed me a little bit. Some of them were kind of average. I thought the Lethal Lockdown could have been a lot better. I thought the tag match was okay, but I thought the crowd kind of let this pay-per-view down a lot, in my opinion. The two matches that I thought would deliver definitely delivered. The Angle and Jeff Hardy match delivered. The James Storm Bobby Roode match delivered in some way or form. The rest of it kind of was average. I don't really know. I mean, it's just one of those pay-per-views where it was a 2-match show, but how do you grade it in terms of the percentage of what is what? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'd probably end up giving this like a C plus if anything. I don't think it was terrible.
If I was to be fair to TNA, which I am starting to actually see, it has got a lot better product. I'm looking at the 2 main events, the one that TNA really wanted to deliver, and the result of them, the feeling that went into them, really delivered. So I'm going to give it a strong C plus.
Strong C plus. I think that's a fair grade because a lot of it didn't really deliver, but so the main things did deliver. So I mean, it really does depend how you think of it. Really, like a C plus. I think it's fair. I didn't think it was like a terrible D pay-per-view, as some people are probably going to say based on that finish, but. Again, we're going to be fair on TNA here, guys. That's what we do here at the British Wrist. We're fair and impartial reviewers. But like I said, we may be fair and impartial. We want to get your thoughts on this pay-per-view. Put them down in that comment section below if you agreed or disagreed with our thoughts on this pay-per-view down in Nashville, Tennessee, Lockdown 2012. I think it really didn't deliver what I thought it would, personally, but it was still... it was still okay, just not as good as I expected it to be. Probably because I pumped myself up too much. That's the last time I might do that for a pay-per-view. WrestleMania 27 reminds me of that. But anyway, yeah, you take the stage.
Thanks very much. I'll say now, people is tuning for the TV show, yes. Impact, because obviously that's going to be what comes next, leading up to the next pay-per-view. So that's going to be the big questions answered. And now, people, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And for Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Goodbye.